All right, so welcome back once again to our PC channel today. So today is also another section that we are having live. So today I want to look at commission in business application. That is an updated version of what we have already covered on the channel some months ago. So today we are looking at the commission and trade. So I see some of you guys joined the stream. You're welcome back. Please do all to share the video out and like it as well so that we get more engaged. So thank you for joining us today on this channel. So without further ado, let's get going and then let's start right away. So let me share out my screen so that we get started. So as you can see on your screen, we are looking at a commission in business application. We are looking at commission in business application. So do all to like the video and then share it out. If you have any question, can drop it in the comment section and then we'll take it from there. So commission in business application. But before we get started, we should know the meaning of what commission. What is commission? So in simple terms, commission has to do with what? A service that individual render to other what? People. A service that individual rendered on behalf of other people, actually. And then at the end of the day, those to whom the service is being rendered on behalf of actually pay the one who rendered what? The service. So when it comes to commission, we are talking about service that one person is rendering on behalf of another to another what person. So we have three groups of people. We have what? The agent. So in our discussion, throughout our discussion, we're using what we call agent and then principal and then a third party. The agent is the one who rendered the service on behalf of the principal, and the principal is the one who actually provides or gives out what? That duty or delegate that duty to the agent. And then he performs that duty on behalf of what? Another person called the third party. All right. So throughout our discussion, you'll be making use of what? Agent in that line. But what we're going to actually discuss under commission is going to more centered on what? Selling, almost more centered on what? Trading. Trading of what? Goods, right? Trading of what? Goods. So that's where our commission discussion today is going to actually be what? Centered. So generally, commission means we are talking about services that individual render on behalf of what? Other people. And at the end of the day, the one who render the service gets paid from the one who actually delegates the service to the agent. So we talk about the agent, we talk about what the principal, we talk about the third party. So the third party is the one to whom the service is being rendered to. And then the agent is the one who provides the service on behalf of the principal who actually delegates the work towards the agent. So let's take note of that. That is a general definition for commission. So as I said earlier, what we're going to discuss under commission is going to focus on commission under what? Trading. Commission under trading. Selling and buying. That's what we're going to actually focus on. That's why we have commission in business what? Application. So realize that you being an individual, let's say we are in a business called, let's say, LPC Consult, okay? And then within this business, we render services. But before we can render the service to the third party, we need to what? Have what? Our employees. And these employees are what we call the agents. So when you be the employee, you render service on behalf of what? The organization, say LPC, then at the end of the day, you get what? Paid. Assuming we deal with what? We sell, let's say, biscuit, toffees, and those kind of what? Consumables. Then, when at any time you make sales, then you get a reward based on what? The quantity of item or the quantity of sales that you made at the end of a particular what? Period. So that's generically how commission is actually instituted. So let's take note of that. So as you can see from this picture, you can realize that there was some form of agreement. When you check the first picture, you can see that there was some form of what? An agreement, right? Between what? These two people, okay? Right? And at the end of the day, when they agreed on it, they handshake as a form of what? Appreciation on behalf of what? Another. So you can say that, let's say this is the agent and this is what? Actually the principal. That the agent perform a service on behalf of this principal, and at the end of the day, you show a form of appreciation through handshaking. That's more of the reward system. And you can also make reference to this, the second picture that you see below here. Is that okay? So that is how commission actually works within a business setting. So let's take note of that. So generally, these are the outcomes or the outline going to follow concerning what? Commission. So we look at the definition of commission, the essence of commission and discount in business, and the type of commission, commercial, and those kind of stuff. But Before we continue, let me give this kind of credit to the department upon which I'm using this slides for. Is coming from School of Business, Department of Logistics and Supply Chain. It's actually for academic purposes. That's why I'm using this slides for. So let's note that in that line. So as I said, commission is all about rendering services on behalf of other, and then at the end of the day, the one who render the service is called the agent. You receive a reward based on the service that you render. And as I said earlier, what we're going to discuss on the commission is going to be centered on what? On sales or trading, selling of goods and what? Services. I hope that is clear. All right. So when we talk about commission in sales or in selling or in marketing, commission has to do with what? The amount that we pay to a person called an agent or a salesperson, or most of the times a sales officer, for rendering a services on behalf of organization or individual. It's an amount that we pay to individual members who are the agent or the salesperson or the sales officer for rendering a service on behalf of individuals or what organization. All right. So generically, for us to know a commission in simple formula, we will say that commission is always what? C, which should be called towards the sales multiplied by what? The rate of commission. So always when it comes to definition or how we actually paid an agent, the formula is commission is equal to sales multiplied by the rate of what? Commission. So the commission is going to be based on the sale that you made for a particular period, upon which that you get what? The commission on. And the rate here is can be given as what? Let's say a percentage, can be given as, let's say, a decimal, or can be given as what? A fraction. But most cases, you see it as what? A percentage. So when we apply the rate upon which the sales was undertaken on the sales, we get your what? Commission. So these are generically, in general form or by simple formula, we define commission. Commission is equal to sales multiplied by the rate of what? Commission. So let's take note of that. But there are instances where after making sales, you being the agent, after making sales or running the service on behalf of what? Individuals or organization, the third party to whom this service was rendered to may at times may not be satisfied when it comes to, let's say, selling of goods, right? May not be satisfied with the sale that you made to him or her. And what happened? If he or she is not satisfied and then return the goods back to the organization, then we will say that for us to know the sales that as being the agent or being a sales officer or a salesperson you made at the end of the day, that should be equal to what? The sales that you made for the day, taking away what? The returns. Taking away the returns. And at any time there is a returns from the third party back to the business, we find what we call the net what? Sales. So for us to calculate your commission, we need to know the net sales. Since there was a returns, we will take the returns figure from the sales that you made for the period, and then whatever you're going to get becomes what? The next sales, right? So it's based on the next sales that we will actually apply the rate of commission on it, and then we get what? Your commission that you're going to pay to you at the end of the day. So I hope that is clear. So that is how actually commission is being instituted. Where there is a returns, we subtract the returns from the sales so that we apply the rate on it, and then we get what? The commission. But in a situation where there is no returns, meaning that the third party or the customer is satisfied with your sales, and as such, for you to determine your commission, we apply the rate of what? The commission on the sales, and we get your commission at the end of the day. So let's take note of that. But hey, there are situations where business people or your employer may wish to encourage you to work extra harder to earn what? More commission. If there are situations in such scenario, in such case like this, then the business or your employer might institute an incentive that will actually provide a level as which if you're able to achieve or go beyond that level, you'll get a commission. So at any time, there's a policy within the organization where before a salesperson or an agent or a sales officer can earn a commission, you should be able to achieve to a certain level before a commission is granted. We call such condition or set motivating as what? A quota. So you see something like quota. Quota. That is Quota. Quota. So quota is actually the level of sales that serve as a motivating factor that individual must achieve or that must go beyond which individuals will get what? A commission. So at any time there is a quota, you subtract the quota from the sales so that whatever is left, that's where we can what? Apply the rate of commission on it. That's where we can apply the rate of commission on it. I hope you are following. So quota has to do with the level of sales that individual must meet or that individual must exceed in order to what? Get a commission. So quota comes in where individual must exceed certain level of sales before they can get a commission. So at any point in time, we have quota and returns as part of the parameters or the variables for us to calculate commission. Then we must take note that if we have quota and then returns, before we can calculate our commission, you must note or calculate what we call our net sales. If there is return, then it means that for us to get the net sales, that should be sales minus what? Returns. I'm using the initial to actually explain. And that's going to give us what? The net sales. But after getting your net sales, that's where you also come into compare the quota. It's going to be given in form of what? A sale, and you compare that to what? Your net sales. You compare that to your net sales, okay? And whatever you're going to get becomes what? Your commission what? Amount. Always we expect that the commission amount should be a positive what? Value. Should be a positive what? Value. So if there is returns and there are quota as part of the requirement of the question, you must first of all subtract the returns from the sales so that you get your net sales. So after getting your net sales, you compare the net sales against the quota. So if you exceed, any extra sale that you get after the quota, if you exceed the quota, then that extra sales, we're going to apply the rate on it for you to get what? Your commission, for you to get your commission. So we call that as what? Commission amount. And as I said, commission amount should always be a positive what? Value. In a situation where when you subtract the quota from the net sales, but you are getting what? A negative value, then meaning that there is no commission. Because commission amount shouldn't be negative, but should be what? Positive. Should be positive. So where the quota is greater than the net sales, then there wouldn't be no, so commission is going to what? Zero. Commission is going to what? Zero. Is that okay? So we don't take that one into what? Consideration. But where we don't have any returns, we don't have any quota, then for you to calculate your commission, that's a general definition. Commission is equal to your sales multiplied by the rate of what? Commission. But where we have quota and the returns, you must first of all subtract the returns from the sales. After that, you compare the net sales to the quota so that you get your commission amount, for which we know it should be a positive what? Value. Okay, so once you get that, then you calculate the rate of commission on it, and then we are good to what? Go. So let's take note of that. So that is the quota, and we call this quota as what we call the minimum quota. So the first quota is always going to give in as a motivating factor to help the agent to work extra hard to get what? Commission. We call it what? The minimum what? Quota. So most of the time I represent it as what? Kill with what? A minimum. Minimum what? Quota. We have a minimum what? Quota. But we have situations where your employer will limit you as to how you get what? Your commission at the end of the day. Will limit you as to how you get your commission at the end of the day. So for instance, let's say you made a sale of, for a particular period, you made a sale of, let's say, $10,000, okay? $10,000 as a sale that you made for the particular period. And then your employer tells you that for you to earn a commission, you should be able to exceed a quota of what? 2,000, right? You should be able to achieve or exceed a quota of 2,000 up to say $2,000 up to say 7,000. Now, what is happening here? You have the sales value to be what? 10,000, okay? And you have the first quota for which your employer is saying that for you to get your commission, you should be able to exceed a quota of 2,000, but then it should be up to what? 7,000. So when you see a statement like this, then we have two quotas coming in here. Generically, we have two quotas coming in here. We have what we call, the first one becomes what we call the minimum what? Quota. The minimum what? Quota. And then the second one up to value also becomes what? The maximum what? Quota. The maximum quota. Let's take note of this. That at any point in time where for an agent or a sales personnel to earn a commission, you have been given a range of two numbers. We call the first one as what? The minimum quota, and the second one as what? The maximum what? Quota. And how does these two actually relate when it comes to what? Application of what? Commission. Application of commission. So meaning that you can earn a commission that exceeds what? 2,000 up to what? 7,000. Any other extra sales beyond this range, you attract zero what? Commission. So there won't be any commission in that line, even though you made what? 10,000 what? Sales at the end of the day. I believe you are following. All right. So if that is the case, then for you to earn your commission, that should be the difference between what? The minimum quota and then the maximum quota. So for us to get our commission amount, then that's going to be the difference between what? The maximum quota. By difference, I mean subtract what? The minimum quota from the maximum quota. So that becomes the maximum quota compared with what? The minimum what? Quota. So a situation where we have, say, an agent must exceed this level up to this level, then for you to calculate your commission amount, it should be the maximum quota compared with what? The minimum quota. I believe that is clear. So that is how, and after that, for you to get your commission, you tell us that commission should be equal to the commission amount multiplied by the rate. So whatever you get for the range, you multiply by the rate of commission and get your commission. But a situation where you have the sales as say 10,000, but you are only giving only one quota, and that always going to be what? The minimum quota. Then for you to get your commission amount is a comparison of what? The minimum quota of what? 2,000 with what? The sales level. So at a point where only the minimum quota is given, for you to get your commission amount, you subtract the minimum quota from the sales or the level of sales that you made for the period. But in a situation where two quotas are given, we compare the two quotas by subtracting the minimum quota from the maximum quota for us to determine our commission amount, and after which we apply the rate of what? Commission on it. So here, I can also write this as this. Instead of this, I can also write it as this. Let's see. Like this quota, the maximum quota compared with what? The minimum quota, or multiplied by the rate of what? Commission. This can also fetch me what? My commission. Or I'll first of all find the commission amount and then multiply by the rate. You can do it straight away, or you can find the individual what? Expression, and then you are good to what? Go. So at any point where you have two quotas, we compare the minimum quota as against the maximum quota to determine your commission amount, and you apply the rate on it to get what? Your commission. So a statement like something like this will be posed in a question that an agent or a staff or a sales personnel receives a commission that exceeds beyond this, or that exceeds this value up to that particular what? Value. So in that, you compare the range. But where only one quota is given, for which in every case going to be the minimum quota, you compare the minimum quotas against the sales level, and then you are good to go. But one thing we also need to note here is that, let's say this time around, our sales level is not 10,000, but rather it is what? Say 6,000. So now what is happening here? When we are comparing the first example, which we're having a sales of 10,000 and then a quota of minimum quota of 2,000, maximum quota of 7,000. It happens, or at this point, or within this range, an agent will earn a full commission if the sales of the agent exceeds what? The maximum quota. I repeat myself again. When we have, for example, 10,000 as a level of sales, and we have what? A condition that you being the agent or a staff, you get a commission that if you're able to exceed what? 2,000 up to what? 7,000. For you to earn a full commission on this range, it means that you must have a sales that exceed what? 7,000 as a maximum quota. Your sales must exceed 7,000, which is the maximum quota. For example, that I'm using in this particular case. But in a situation where, let's say, you had your sales figure to be, say, 6,000, right? But you were given a condition that for you to earn what? A commission, you should be able to exceed a minimum quota of what? 2,000, right? Up to a maximum quota of what? A maximum quota of what? 7,000. And you made a sale of what? 6,000. you ask yourself, are you going to earn a full commission amount on 2,000 or 7,000? That is certainly no, because your sales that you made, which is 6,000, is less than the maximum quota. So at any point in time, the sales for a particular period is less than that of what? The maximum quota. Then, for us to get the commission of that personnel or that sales officer or that agent, we'll compare that of what the minimum quota as against what? The sales that you made for the period. Since the sales that you made for the period is less than the maximum quota. But a situation where your sales is greater than the maximum quota, then for you to earn your commission, you get a full commission amount within the range of what? Say 2,000 up to what? 7,000. This is what I want us to understand when it comes to commission, because majority of the question that we see in commission related situations is going to be more centered or narrow the attention on this area. And we need to understand how these statements are made and how we need to apply them in business kind of questions. So let's take note of that. If you have any question, you can bring it on board and then I'll take it from there. So these are the things that we need to know when it comes to commission. When it comes to commission. So let's take note of that. Let's take note of that. So if you have any question, you can let me know in that line. So I'll be glad to end here, and then we'll continue next time where we look at example on commission and look at the various type of commission, and then we'll continue to look at other related issues. So thank you for watching or joining us today on our live streaming section. So I'm grateful for having you here. If today is your first time on this channel, please do well to subscribe to the channel and then share, and then let's get more engaged on this channel. So I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.